Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Bhutan saranang gacchami, dhammang saranang gacchami, sanghang saranang gacchami, dotyampi bhutan saranang gacchami, dotyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, dotyampi sanghang saranang gacchami, tatyampi bhutan saranang gacchami, tatyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, tatyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Panatipata viramani sikapadang samadhiyami, adinadana viramani sikapadang samadhiyami, kami sumichachara viramani sikapadang samadhiyami, musavada viramani sikapadang samadhiyami, suramirya maja pamadatana viramani sikapadang samadhiyami. I undertake the precept to abstain from killing. I undertake the precept to abstain from taking the not given. I undertake the precept to abstain from sexual misconduct. I undertake the precept to abstain from false and malicious speech. I undertake the precept to abstain from taking intoxicants that induce heedlessness. Karaniyang atta kusalena yantan santan padang abhisamecha sakku ujucha sujucha suvachocha samuru anantimani santu sakocha subarocha appakichocha salahuka buddhi santindriyocha nipakocha appagabo kulesu ananugido nachakudam samachare kinchiyena vinyupade upavadeyum Sukhino vakemino hontu. Sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatta. Ye kechipana bhutati. Tasavata varava anavasesa. Digavaye mahantava. Majjimarasakanukatulla. Dittavayeva aditta. Ye chadure vasanti avidure. Bhutava sambhavesiva. Sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatta. Naparu parannikubeta. Jnati manyeta katta chinam kanchi. Vyarosana patiga sanya. Jnana manyasa dukkamicheya. Bhatayatani puttam. Ayusa eka puttam anurakke. Evam pisabha bhutesu. Manasang bhavaye aparimanam. Mettam cha sabbalokasmin. Manasang bhavaye aparimanam. Uttang adocha tiriyancha. Asampadang averang asapattam. Tittang charang nisinova. Sayano yavatassa vigantamito. Etang satim aditeya. Brahmang etang viharang idamahu. Dittincha anupagama silava. Dasanena sampanno. Kamesu vineya gidam. Nahi jatu gabaseyam. Punyaeti ti. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove, wishing in gladness and in safety, may all beings be at ease. Whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another, even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child. So with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded, freed from hatred and ill will. Whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, freed from drowsiness, one should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding. By not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being free from all sense desires, is not born again into this world. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
May all living beings be well, be at ease, and be free from suffering. Let us stay with this beautiful heart wish. Let our heart bloom like a lotus flower and radiate true friendliness through each petal of the flower. let the mind let the mind remember anybody, anyone especially so-called problematic people. Let the mind remember people, especially so-called problematic people, and even let the mind make pictures. Let the mind see their faces. See what feeling, what emotion comes when we remember those people and when we see their faces. Everything might be mud, memories, pictures, images, and even feelings and emotions. Like a muddy pond. Can we find the seed, small, tiny seed of friendliness, of true love. Inside of this muddy pond. Instead of worrying about all those muddy memories, images, pictures, ideas and emotions. Instead of being worried about all of them, can we be happy about the seed of friendliness, the small seed of metta, true love, compared to the size of seed, the muddy pond is so big. Quantity, but the quality, there is no quality in any mud. But full of qualities are there inside of small seed of lotus. The quality of fragrant, quality of colors, the quality of beauty, the quality of purity, pureness, divineness. Let us stay with all these beautiful qualities. Instead of fighting and struggling and worrying about polluted memories, thoughts, ideas, pictures, images, and emotions. If no hatred, then we are not interested in cultivating metta, cultivating friendliness, and cultivating true love. with this clear understanding. By experiencing the process of flowering, my dear friends, let us now come for the discussion.
Good afternoon, or good morning, or good evening, everybody. My name is Paul, and I have the pleasure to moderate the discussion. So if you have a question about what has been said today, or about your spiritual practice, or if you would like to share an experience, feel free to do so. There are two ways. The first way is at the bottom of your screen, you see the chat box. So if you click on chat, see an arrow. If you click on the arrow, you will find my name. My name is Paul van Hooijdonk, difficult name for especially Asian people. So Paul, that's my given name, P-A-U-L. And you can type your question and send it to me, and I will present it to Upul. So this is the first way. And I know that there are some people already who have a question, so please feel free to write the question and to send it to me through the chat box. Another way is that you simply raise your hand and that you ask a question directly. So I see that already one person has risen his hand. Ben, please feel free.
Good day, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. I would like to share a gatha from Thich Nhat Hanh. I hope everybody can hear me clearly. Okay. It's a gatha that I use when I practice walking meditation. And I found it very beautiful. So I would like to share it with all of you. It's the breathing gatha. And it goes like this. Let the Buddha breathe. Let the Buddha walk. I don't have to breathe. I don't have to walk. The Buddha is breathing. The Buddha is walking. I enjoy the breathing. I enjoy the walking. Buddha is the breathing. Buddha is the walking. I am the breathing. I am the walking. There is only the breathing. There is only the walking. There is no breather. there is no walker. Peace while breathing. Peace while walking. Peace is the breathing. Peace is the walking. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ben, for sharing this beautiful text or poem from Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese Zen teacher who passed away yesterday with us. So I think it is very appropriate that you quoted him and that you shared his poem about walking meditation and about the egolessness or the selflessness of the walking meditation with us. Thank you very much. I think so far there has been no question in the chat box. Yes, there is. There is one question from our host, Mar, and yoga teacher, Mar. So her question is, Upul was talking about these seed lotus qualities, but the connection was not very good. Could you please mention them again? So Upul, you mentioned the qualities of the seed of the lotus, but at that time, the connection, there were some technical problems, the connection was not very good. So could you please mention them again? What are the qualities of the seed of the lotus? So we are listening to you.
Thank you very much, dear Paul. I'm very happy to see you again. Yes.
Same.
And yeah, and I'm happy that today you are able to moderate the whole discussion without having any technical problem.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. First, it was so nice. It is so nice that what Ben was singing, the poem or the Gatha by Thich Nhat Hanh. Yeah, he introduced hundred of or thousand of poems or gathas for every single activity, starting from soon after we wake up, and for every single activity, the last thing is a poem before we go to the bed to sleep. So every single activity, even for brushing teeth, everything. So thank you very much, dear Ben, for singing one of the most powerful poems or gathas and reminding us about our master's master, Thich Nhat Hanh. And well, dear Ma, when we are suffering, when we are in pain, all the thoughts are very polluted. So polluted thoughts, polluted memories, polluted feelings, faces, images, pictures, ideas, judgments, all are very impure, polluted, like a muddy pond. And so natural reaction is disliking, hate, being hatred towards everything, towards the mud. towards muddy materials. Instead of that, as a meditator, we can try to find out the seed of lotus. The seed of lotus is so small, so tiny, very difficult to see. The mud, it is very obvious, and so smelly. Therefore, easier to fight with them, but difficult to identify the seed of lotus, the seed of love, the seed of metta. And even though we identify it, even though we see, I can now practice metta, I can now practice loving kindness, even though we find the seed of metta, the seed of lotus, but we start to compare the quantity, the size of seed with size of mud. The size of mud, the size of the muddy pond is so huge, million times bigger than the seed of lotus. That's true. But when we look at qualities of seed of lotus or qualities of lotus is different. Actually, no qualities or very less qualities of muddy pond. And but how many qualities are there inside of a tiny small seed of lotus? How many qualities? The quality of fragrant, the quality of colors, the quality of beauty, the quality of purity, divineness. How many? We can see, we have to focus our attention on those things, not the size, not the quantity, qualities. And here we can see how many qualities are there inside of the seed of metta. Even metta is not flowering yet. It's a seed. But even inside of this seed, how many beautiful qualities are there? The quality of forgiveness, the quality of acceptance, the quality of kindness, the quality of listening, many qualities. We can analyze, we can identify one by one, all these beautiful and spiritual qualities of small seed of lotus, seed of spirituality. And by doing this, by identifying, by recognizing these things, we can be happy instead of being worried about all those polluted thoughts, polluted memories, polluted images, polluted ideas, judgments, and pictures. We can be happy. We can admire. We can appreciate. And by doing all those things, we can come out from those muddy ponds. We can just come out. We can come out just by appreciating and recognizing beautiful qualities of spirituality. That's all, Paul.
Thank you very much, Upul, for your answer. So I go back to Mar, who raised the question. Is this a clear question, Mar? Or a clear answer? Has your question been answered? Okay, I think it has. At the moment, there is no other question in the chat box, so maybe somebody would like to raise a question by raising his or her hand. So please feel free.
Okay, sorry. I just speak, okay.
Please, Claudia, go ahead.
Well, when I was more practicing with the Mahayana tradition, Tibetan tradition, where there were all these stories of all these yogis going into the mountains for years and years, like 12 years or whatever, just practicing there on their own. And as well, the Buddha, he recommends, I mean, there are so many suttas and in the Dhammapada as well, where he said solitude is so important as well for the practice. But the recommendation in the talk now, and as well of the sutta that Upul mentioned in the talk by the Buddha, was as well, on the other hand, saying that the lotus is blossoming in the mud and in the society. So the question is it obviously a matter of making the right choice at the right time? Obviously, I don't know, from the suttas, from both of these different suttas, I understand that both of these aspects are important on the spiritual path. So is it then a matter of recognizing which choice to make, when to go into the wood for some time and be on my own, and really just be in silence and quiet, and when again go back to the city and into the job and friends and family life to involve in the society. That's the question.
Thank you so much, Claudia. It's a very clear question, but anyway, I will kind of summarize it. That's my task, that's my job. So the question is about the relationship between the lotus and the mud. Solitude on the one hand, but also living in the world and being engaged in the world in all the aspects of living in the world, like job, family, society, our responsibilities. So your question is it a matter of making the right choice at the right time? Do both aspects, loneliness on the one hand, or solitude is maybe a better word, solitude on the one hand, and being engaged in the world on the other hand, how do they relate? Do they both have a place on the path? So again, I give the word to Upul.
Thanks, Paul, to make the question clear, and thank you, dear Claudia, to raise this very practical question. Well, it is depending on so many conditions and factors, depending on the person, depending on the time, and depending on the intention. And depending on so many other things. Anyway, if I give a common answer to this question, then I would like to say this, that being with others is equally important to being with oneself. Being with oneself is equally useful and important to being with others. So we have to balance. It is easier to go to one of the extremes. When we are being with others and doing our job, doing shopping and feeding others and maintaining relationships, then we completely forget about ourselves. Ourselves means our spirituality, our spiritual development. We have to be with ourselves. We completely forget about, ignore it. And when we are alone, when we are in isolated environment, again we forget about everything and only think about ourselves. That means we attach to ourselves. We attach to others. When we are in the society, we attach to the society. And we attach to ourselves when we are isolated, when we are in solitude. So that is the case. Being in a society or being alone is not the case. Is not the cause either. The cause is how much we attach, how much we are depending. So we have to work with these things. We have to work on those areas. When we are alone, then we have to meditate on this, how much we attach to our own self, how much we are depending on ourselves, how much ego is there, how much self is there, how much selfishness is there. We have to find out. And when we are in the society, we have to see how much we attach to the society, how much we attach to the job, how much we attach to people, money, shopping, entertainment, how much we are depending on them. So by meditating on these areas and by understanding and by overcoming this attachment to whatsoever, that is the way to be, that is the way to flowering. If we are attached to whatsoever, then no flowering. We are being stuck. It doesn't matter to what. We attach to what? To the solitude or to the society, doesn't matter. So the point is, yes, we have to live in the society. We have to live in a society. We have to maintain relationships. We have to do duties, responsibilities. And how far we can do those things without being attached, without depending on them. And how much we can be with ourselves without being attached to the solitude, to the isolation, to the aloneness. How much we are not depending on them. If we are not depending, then of course we can grow, we can be a lotus, we can flowering. But if we are attached to whatsoever, then we have to stay inside of the mud. Therefore, dear Claudia, we cannot make a schedule, half or 6 months we have to be in the society, 6 months in the meditation center. No, we cannot do like that. It's not depending on the quantity, on the length of period. Again, the quality. So we had to be in the society. We had to be in the society to see how much we attach to it, how much we are suffering because of the society, how much society is suffering because of us. To understand all those things, we have to be in a society with awareness, with mindfulness. And we had to be with ourselves. We had to be isolated to see how much we are depending and how much insecurity is there, how much we are selfish, to understand. Without understanding, no transformation. It's impossible to let go without understanding. So, we better to listen to our heart, and if possible, we can go for a retreat or go for some time to be isolated, not because we hate the society, to see how much we attach to the society or how much we hate to the society. And after meditating, after being alone, when we go back to society, the society is same, but the person who is going back is now different. We have to see how much we are different now, how much we change ourselves. If we are same, then we are still in the mud. We are still mud. So the test is going back to the society after that retreat, after being alone. We have to go back and see, am I a different person now? What are the differences? What are the similarities? This is ongoing exercise. That's all, dear Paul.
Thank you very much, Upul, for the answers. So I go back to Claudia. Claudia, is that clear? Okay, thank you. No question is in the chat box at the moment. So again, if somebody would like to raise a question. I think Swanhilde. Swanhilde, you want to raise a question, I think. Is that correct?
Yes, that is
Please.
correct, Paul.
Please, go ahead.
Nice to see you also. when you talk about the mud and the seeds of the lotus, I find it personally very helpful to pray to God or to the love of the universe, or however you may call it. And I find that also very helpful because because I feel that it's there, you know, that there is something bigger than my personal doings. And I would ask Upul if he can elaborate on that a little bit. Am I clear?
So I think it's a clear question. Your question basically is you turn to something that is bigger to you and you call it God when you feel the need to do so. And is that correct, Swanilde? Am I saying it correctly?
Yes, or when I feel I'm really in the mud and I do not know an answer myself, it is I feel it very helpful to relate to God. And
Okay.
well, yes, and
Right.
I would, yeah.
So when you feel overwhelmed by what is happening in the world, basically, then you turn to something that is higher or bigger. You call it God, and you would like Upul to comment on that.
Yes, please.
Thank you. So please, Upul.
Thanks, dear Savidilon, for this beautiful statement. It's so nice, so beautiful what you have said. And I'm so impressed about your understanding and about your interpretation. But how do I elaborate the God? I'm a very small person, how possible to elaborate the God? The God itself is elaborated. Well, yeah, I can say something like this. There is no 100% black, no 100% darkness, no 100% anger. Even though we say fully anger, full of anger, but no 100%, maybe 99%, maybe 80%, maybe 50%, but no 100%. Always there's small space for something different, something opposite, something pure, something divine, something spiritual. Always that space is there. Inside of anger, inside of hatred, inside of desire, inside of whatsoever. But usually we are not used to see that empty space. We always looking for materials, objects, mud, emotions. And then we are fighting. So with your awareness, with your sensitivity, now you can see that divine space, that divine quality, that spirituality. Even while the mind is angry, while the mind is so sorrow, so sad, doesn't matter, that star is still blinking. the star of awareness, the star of liberation. You said, the star of God. It is blinking. It is blinking. And when it is blinking, and when we are aware, when we are sensitive, only then we can see it. If it is not blinking, then we cannot see. If we are not sensitive, again we cannot see. So all these things should happen together. The star should be blinked. At the same time, when we are aware, when we are sensitive, only then we can make a connection. We can make a connection with that purity, that light, that star. This is extremely important, to have a relationship with whatever you call the God or the Dhamma or awareness or liberation, whatever. It's extremely important to make a connection, a relationship. That is the most difficult part. And this is the first step as well. And then the rest is easier. And then you feel that you are safe. Then the faith becomes real. Then the faith is not a blind faith, because now you are really experiencing it. It's your experience now. And then the heart is making an effort, effortless effort, because no resistance. If resistance is there, then we had to make tremendous effort to go towards it. How much resistance is there, that much we have to make effort. If less resistance, less effort. No resistance, no effort. Then the journey becomes effortless journey. Is this enough?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so there is no new question in the chat box, so maybe somebody wants to raise a question. Otherwise, I have a topic myself. So basic, do I hear somebody or?
Can I ask the question, please?
Guptali, please go ahead.
Sir, when I make a plan, I know that I have to accept that there could be, the success is not 100%, maybe just 1%.
Can you say that again, please, Guptali? Yeah. Maybe a little louder, or maybe you can put the microphone close to your face.
Can you hear now?
Yes, this is better. Thank you.
Now, when I make a plan, not like old days, not like the past, I know that the success rate is not 100%. I have a margin for it. But still, when I see that it's not happening, even though I knew that I have to have a sort of a space for it, but when it doesn't happen the way that I thought, I get a little unhappy. But then again, I think, no, that is what I expected. Then again, I'm okay. But how to overcome that unhappiness even for that small moment? That's my question. Is that clear? I don't know.
Okay, you have to excuse me. I didn't completely understand the question, but maybe Upul has.
Unfortunately, yes, I heard it. Well, yeah, and that is the way, Guptani, that is the way it happens. That is the way we grow, step by step. So, in the beginning, we are fully unhappy before meditation, and now, later, we can reduce bit by bit of unhappiness with understanding, with training, train our mind to accept. Anyhow, if we are still attached to the result of our expectations, we make plan to do something, to get something, to experience something. Otherwise, we do not make any plan. So, always a result is there. So, we attach to the result. How much we are attached to the result, that much reactions are coming. If it is success, that much we can be happy, maybe a little bit less. But if we are not success, then the unhappiness is related to the amount of attachment to the result. Again, it is depending on the attachment. If no attachment to any result, then no unhappiness, even though we are not success, even though we are 100% failed. But no sadness, no unhappiness if we do not attach to any result. So while you are making a plan and while you are making an effort to go with the plan, please be aware on your attachment, how much you attach to the process, to the expectation, and to the result. And if you can discover, if you can find out, then better to try to detach from that attachment. Detach from the attachment. And see the practical side of your plan. Maybe you make a plan to help somebody. Then it is not something that you are going to gain, receiving, just giving. If you can give, it's okay. If you cannot give, that's okay too. So always better to expect both. If I can do, it's good. If I cannot do, that is good too. It is not just a word. It's okay, it's okay. See, if you can't do, then what are the benefits of not doing, not giving? What are the benefits? Always benefits are there. Always advantages are there. Always they are there. So, if you can see the advantage of doing things and not doing things, still you can make an effort to do something. But if you can do, it's okay. If you cannot do, that's okay too.
So thank you very much, Upul, for this deep answer. So basically it means that no matter what the outcome is, or no matter what the result is, if your plans come true or not, you have a certain attitude of, it's okay anyway. I am not attached to the result. I am content with whatever will happen, basically, whether my expectations come true or whether they don't come true. Something, am I correct?
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, you are correct. Be happy.
Thank you. So Guptani, is that the clear answer?
So, I'll try next time and see.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So again, I go to the chat box. There is no new question. I have it. There is one from Colin. Please, Colin, go ahead.
Sorry, Paul. You can go next. So, yeah, Upal, when you were talking about the lotus flower of metta, I was kind of thinking about my own practice and my own lotus flower. And I think I've noticed over the years of meditative practice that my capacity for loving kindness, for metta, it very much fluctuates up and down. I think that's normal for everyone, but I find whenever I'm on like a big retreat or practicing very consistently or precisely, then I start to see, changes in this capacity for me to have compassion for the world and for other people. And part of this has been through metta practice, metta meditation. But what I've found is that oftentimes it goes through these dips, which can be long or short, and I kind of lose this motivation, especially when it comes to the actual practicing of metta meditation. And I guess I'm not totally satisfied with that trend, because I want to be able to kind of keep the ball rolling, I suppose, and continue to practice metta more consistently. And maybe it's not actually through like a seated meditation practice. Maybe it's through some other, exercises out in the world. But I'm curious if you just have any thoughts in general for maybe people who are struggling with this, like ways to, I don't know, I suppose, increase motivation or keep that momentum going when it comes to metta and loving kindness.
Thank you very much, Colin. I'll summarize what you just said. So basically, you feel that you lose the capacity for practicing loving kindness meditation, or that this capacity fluctuates. You notice that you are losing the motivation to do that kind of meditation, and you like to keep up with it. So you ask Upal if he has any thoughts or any suggestions that may help you to keep you practicing metta. Thank you. So Upal, we are listening to you.
Thanks, Paul, and thanks, dear Colin. Nice to see you again, and hope you are doing well. What you raised, your question is very important for all of us, not only for you. And actually, this can happen to all of us. When we are in a meditation center, when we are in a retreat, when we are with teachers, when we are living with the timetable, then everything happens smoothly. But when we go back to our normal life, everyday life, to the society. Then, of course, in the beginning, yes, we could do some practice, some long sittings, some slow motion activities. But after a couple of days or couple of weeks, we become wheel of the society. Then when the society, how the speed of cycling the society, so we are cycling to the same speed because we become a small wheel of the big machine of society. We cannot slow down. So this can happen on and off to everybody. And that is normal. That is normal. When we are in a meditation center, when we are doing a retreat, then everything is so easy. Timetable is there, teacher is there, and other friends are there, meditators, all are doing same thing. Then physical practice as well as inner practice, as you mentioned, that metta, loving kindness, so easy. That's good. That's good. And it's not a surprise. It is not a surprise when we are in the meditation center, everything happens so nicely. So nobody gets surprised because of that. But we are surprised. We get surprised when we are in the society and we are unable to continue the practice as when we are in a center. Actually, it's same. It is same. When we are in spiritual community, then again we become a small wheel of that community, small wheel of the center, small wheel of the Sangha. Then the small wheel is cycling in order to the big machine, the speed of the big machine. And same principle, same phenomena, same theory and same philosophy. When we are in the society, no difference, same mechanism. So with this understanding, we can accept it. The first thing is we have to accept by understanding. And the second thing, if we have spiritual friends, we better to meet them time to time and discuss and share each other's experiences. This is extremely important, to have spiritual friends, to associate and for sharing and listening. Not always, but for time to time. And by meeting them and sharing and listening, we can recharge ourselves. We can motivate ourselves. And the second thing is, when we are in a trouble, unexpected issue, when we are having problems, so-called when we are suffering, that is the alarm. That is the alarm. Suffering is the alarm. It is saying, this is the time to restart your progress, restart your practice. This is the time. This is the last hour. Don't postpone. Don't wait. Start right now. So we better to listen to that alarm and wake up ourselves whenever we hear that alarm of pain, alarm of suffering, alarm of disappointment, alarm of dissatisfactoriness whatsoever. That's why the Buddha said it's noble. Suffering is noble. It's an alarm, spiritual alarm. This is the second point. Then again, we can motivate ourselves. If we do not continue the practice, then we are going down, 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 below the zero. Now we are not below the zero. Now we are not at the zero, but close to the zero. And the next next point to motivate ourselves is we better to look at our days at the end of the day, how my day was. What happens to me? What happens to others because of me? What happens to me because of me and because of others? We better to do some kind of evaluation at the end of the day. Maybe if we cannot do it daily, then at least at the end of the week. Better to do some kind of evaluation. And by doing this evaluation, by doing this looking back, we can see how our spirituality is going up or going down or same level. We can see. And by monitoring this, again, it is called spiritual emergency, Samvega. Pali word is Samvega. And when I asked the right English word for this from Kema, she said, better to say spiritual emergency. So when we look back our life, what happened today, what happened yesterday, how our spirituality, how our metta, is it going up or in the same level or below? So usually it is, if we are not continuing in the practice, then it is, even we cannot maintain the same level, it is going down. And when we see it again and again, then that Samvega comes, spiritual emergency, it's a feeling, it's a energy. It comes, no, we should not postpone, we should not delay, we should not ignore. If we ignore it, then one day we cannot restart. If we are below zero, then no way to restart. So these are the hints for motivating ourselves to come back to the path again and again. And then the last one is you are specializing this question to metta, loving kindness. When we are dealing with people who are hatred, always hatred, less patient, we can see, oh, poor them, poor them. They better to practice metta. If they know how to practice metta, how much they can be at ease, they can be well. So better to use, or not use, but better to look at others, especially they are emotional. We better to look at them and see ourselves. Then they become mirrors. Others' behaviors become mirrors to see ourselves. It may happen to me if I do not continue my practice. I may become same as him or her one day. Do I want? do I want? Again, that spiritual emergency. With the spiritual emergency, it is easier to motivate ourselves and going back to the rhythm of our usual practice. That's all.
So, thank you, Upul, for this answer. I come back to Colin. Is everything clear, Colin?
Yes, everything is clear. Yeah, no, thank you, Upal. I think you touched on a lot of very nice points, and particularly the one that caused me to have a small insight or really hit home is your point about reflecting on the day or the week or whatever else and kind of seeing the trend. Because I realized right when you said that I actually have a practice for doing that every evening, to have a little reflection on the day. And one of the things that I reflect on is my level of awareness throughout the day, which has been very helpful for me. But I noticed that I do not specifically reflect every day on that level of metta. And so maybe that is why I feel a bit confused and lost about it sometimes. So that's kind of my thing that I think I'm gonna try next is add that to the reflection, and see how that goes. So thank you very much.
Thanks.
There is a question from the United States, a question from Upeka. It's actually two questions. And I think it's, these questions can fill 10 talks or something. Can you talk about how to practice the 4 foundations of mindfulness outside of the formal meditation, like in daily life? That's the first question. And the second question is, which one are we supposed to be focusing on at any given moment? So the first question is, Upul, can you please talk about how to practice the 4 foundations of mindfulness outside of the formal meditation practice, like in daily life? I'm looking at my clock. I don't think we have enough time to answer this question, but we're listening to you anyway.
Thank you, dear Paul, and thank you, dear Upeka. Very good morning, dear Upeka. Well, yes, Paul explained, we need another retreat, at least one day retreat to discuss on this subject, how to practice 4 foundations of mindfulness in our everyday life. Well, life means, what's life? We know those 4 foundations: body, experiences, that's the second part. The first foundation is body. The second part is experiences, Vedana, sensations, means experiences. The third part is mind, different mental status. And actually, life means these 3 things. That's the life. Body and bodily activities, and then experiences. The last part is different status of mind. That's the life. There is no any other thing. whatever we say life is either body or bodily activity and or an experience and whatever state of mind. That's the life. So the Buddha asks us to meditate in our life, means meditate with whatever. So mindfulness, the foundation of mindfulness means whatever we are, whomever we are, whatever we are, meditate on it. If you are lonely, we can meditate on loneliness. If you are stressed, we can meditate on stress. Meditate means we can be aware. I am stressed now. I am lonely now. I am bored now. So that means different experiences. I don't like. That's a mental state. I don't like this boredom. I don't like. I like my loneliness. It's again Chittanupassana, state of mind. And I am talking now. So it is the first foundation of mindfulness, being aware on talking, and you are listening. It is also a bodily activity. You can be aware. If you are aware now on what you are hearing, then you are practicing first foundation of mindfulness. And if I am aware on what I am talking, then I am also practicing first foundation of mindfulness right now. And if I am aware on what I am experiencing while I am answering to this question, then I am practicing the second foundation of mindfulness, Vedananupassana, sensations, experiences. And if you are aware on your own experiences while you are listening, then you are practicing the second foundation of mindfulness. And if you are happy about this answer, and if you know that you are happy, then of course you are practicing the third foundation of mindfulness. And if you are not happy, if you are not satisfied, and if you know that you are not satisfied, then again, you are meditating. You are practicing the third foundation of mindfulness. And that's all. The life has these three. That's all. But if you only practice these three things, then the practice is endless. It is an endless activity. Again and again and again, we have to practice, 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 practice. The result is we can create a distance in between ourselves and what we observe. And we can be aware on absence of emotions from time to time. But that's all. There is no end. That's why the Buddha introduced the fourth one. Try to discover natural phenomena, natural mechanisms behind whatever we experience. Try to discover it. If you are happy, why we are happy? If you are unhappy, why we are unhappy? What is behind it? We have to discover it. That is the fourth one. By discovering the mechanism of whatever we experience, only then we can change it. We can stop it, or we can moderate it. We can go beyond it. I think this is enough for now, as Paul said about the limit of the time.
Okay, Upul, there is a second part of Upeka's question and a third part also. So I will read both of them. Which of these four foundations of mindfulness are we supposed to be focusing on at any given moment? That is the second question. Which one are we supposed to be focusing on at any given moment? In other words, how do I make a choice? What do I choose to put my attention on? And then the last part, and when I'm trying to practice, based on the ideals as described, I'm constantly noticing I'm falling short. That is the last part. So, but maybe it's good to talk about the second part, which is which of these four foundations of mindfulness are we supposed to be focusing on at any given moment?
Yeah, we have to start from where we are. If we are emotional, if we are in emotional state, then we have to place our mindfulness on our emotions. And if you are in thinking process, then we can be aware on our thinking. If you are just experiencing something, then we can pay our attention, we can be mindful on what we experience. So it is depending on where we are and what we are doing. So we have to start our practice from where we are and what we are doing in this moment, in that moment.
Okay, thank you, Upul, for answering the second part. And then the last part of the question is, when I'm trying to practice based on the ideals as described, I'm constantly noticing I am falling short. So she's feeling she's not doing good enough.
Well, yeah, it's a mental state. I mean, it's a judging mind. We have to be aware on that state of the mind instead of taking it so seriously. Oh, yeah, that's true. I am not doing enough. I am not good enough. So please do not take that judgment so seriously as an absolute truth. It is just a judgment, and it is a part of the mind. So we have to be aware on it. It is just a thought. Don't take it so seriously. If you can be aware on that thought, on that judgment, on that conclusion, just by being aware on that conclusion, you can prove that you are doing good enough. That is the only way to prove that you are doing good enough. There is no any other way.
So I come back to Upeka to ask you directly, Upeka, is this a satisfying answer? Is it clear?
Yes, except for the last part, I don't quite understand how you prove that you're doing well enough by noticing did he say confusion?
Well, we can argue with that judgmental mind to prove that we are doing good enough. We can argue. And actually, that is the thing what we usually do. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Or we can accept that judgment. Yes, yes, madam, we are not doing good enough. we are guilty. So this is the other extreme. Either we start to argue against the judging mind to prove that we are doing good enough, or we are just surrendering and accepting and being guilty. So always we are going to one of these extremes. But instead of that, we can find the third way, or the middle path. It means we can be aware on that judgment. So, dear judge, I am observing you now. You said that I am not good enough observer. That is your judgment. Dear judge, dear Lord, you have said that I am not good observer. And I am observing you now. I am observing your judgment. I pay my full attention on you. And still, do you feel that I am not doing good enough? Still, can you say that my observation is not good enough? So something like that, we can flow with that tendency instead of going against, and we can use it to improve our awareness on it. That is the way to start. We cannot go in somewhere else to start our practice. No, we have to start our practice from that very point. Sometimes mind says you are a good meditator. Sometimes mind says you are a very advanced meditator, now very close to jhana or enlightenment. And sometimes the mind says you are a bad meditator. You are a very weak one, very lazy meditator. And always we take all those comments very seriously. Sometimes we are proud, sometimes we are guilty, but finally all are just thoughts. The mind is playing same game. So better to be aware. Better to be aware without being a victim of all mental judgments.
Thank you so much, Upul, for this clear answer. I'm seeing that it is 3:30, and normally that means that the next part of our meditation day is starting now. Shall we have one more question or a few more questions, or do you want to go to a meditation or a reflection now?
Are you asking from me or from the audience?
Yes. I'm asking you.
Oh, oh thanks. Well, I think it is up to the participants. We are doing this retreat for them, so they can decide what is good for them. Discussion or reflection or meditation, or maybe all three together we can do one by one.
Okay. Is there anybody who would like to raise one more question? I actually have a topic myself. If it's okay with you, you said, I wrote it down, you said in your talk, when we become the seed of the lotus flower and we do not fight with the mud, then suffering is there, but no one is suffering. And it is similar to what Ben said in his poem when he quoted Thich Nhat Hanh, when he was talking about practicing walking meditation. He said something like, there is just a walking, in the walking just a walking, but there is actually nobody walking. And it reminds me also of what the Buddha said, deeds are done, but there is nobody doing them. And it also reminds me, Upul, of a text that you wrote, or actually I found it on the website of Nilambe, I think. When you were talking about walking meditation, you said something like, there is just a walking, there is no goal for the walking, there is also nobody walking. So could you please talk a little about this non-ownership of physical actions or also emotions like suffering or thoughts? I think that's a very interesting topic. So that is basically my question. Could you please talk a little about this non-ownership of everything that we usually identify with?
Yes, exactly, dear Paul. We identify everything with ourselves. Each thought, each emotion, each word, and each action, and each reaction. We identify. We put our signature. We add our return address. Our footprint is there. Our fingerprint is there. That's why everything becomes karma. What is the difference between karma and action? If it is pure action, then no signature, no return address, no footprint or fingerprint, no trademark, nothing, just action. That means no doer, just doing, no expectation, no ego. Even though we cannot complete because of whatsoever, that's okay. That's okay. Even though nobody appreciates, that's okay. Even though everybody blames, that's okay. But karma means we sign it. Our signature is there. Our footprint and fingerprints are there. We write down our return address. It's me. I am doing these things for you. I spend my own time for you, my own money, my own energy. Please be concerned. I am doing these things for you. So when we think in this way, when we stress these things, that means ego is there. Then it's a karma, because return address is there. Then the result comes wherever we are. It doesn't matter physically where we are. The address of ego is there. Then result can reach us. So then we are in the samsara, in the circle, because the journey is going on and on and on. how much the ego is there, how much expectations are there, that much we project and create the future. The future is something we create and project. With ego and with expectations. Egoistic expectations. I am doing this to expect that. I am giving this to get back that. So future is something the egoistic thinking is projecting, creating. So how much future we project, that much time we had to live, that much time we had to come back. No end. It is a circle, cycling. Therefore, better to maintain a sharp awareness, very sharp awareness, to not to sign, not to write down our return address, no, not to step in to any action to make a footprint or fingerprint. Just doing with pure intentions, pure heart, then it is not a karma. Then no projection. We do not create any future. We do not create any time, any cycle. Then we do not have to come back. Therefore, dear Paul, it is extremely important to be aware on this area, how we identify ourselves with every single thought, every single plan, every single action and reaction.
Crystal clear. Thank you so much. Okay, we still have 15 minutes, and I see that Upeka has a question. Please, Upeka.
So I didn't have time to write the question yet, but I am noticing how influenced I am by liking and disliking what's going on. And I was wondering if Upul could talk a bit about how not to be. I think it's related to the topic that you just asked him to discuss about not personalizing any one experience. But I was wondering if Upul could talk about, just in a practical way, to be just less affected by what you like and what you don't like. And I understand that meditation helps to develop the ability to not react so quickly, but I just wanted to hear a bit more about how to get away from this trap.
Thank you, Upeka. So, Upul, the question is clear. Liking and disliking. How can we not be the victim?
Yeah. Usually, we do everything because of likes and dislikes. Behind each action, behind every single behavior, either like or dislike is there. If we like something, if we are liking something, then we are doing it. If we don't like, then we do not want to do. So, liking and disliking, likes and dislikes are riding us. They are the riders. We are like horses. So first we had to understand our present situations. We are like just horses. We are not the riders. Likes and dislikes are riding us. Sometimes we are running. Sometimes we are slow. Sometimes we are going back. Sometimes we are being stuck at one place not because of us, because of the rider. So again and again, we better to understand our real situation, our real condition, where we are, what happens to us in our own life. By understanding this, again that spiritual emergency, it comes, oh, we are not riders in our own life, we are just like horses. But still we are running and chasing things, not because of us, because of the riders, because of likes and dislikes. And that's why we are suffering too. If we are unable to reach whatever we like, we are suffering. If we are unable to get rid of whatever we do not like, again we are suffering. And whatever we like, if we are unable to keep it forever, again we are suffering, even though we are keeping it with us. But still, fear is there. Any moment we may lose it. So many different ways we are suffering because of likes and dislikes. They are the immediate cause. They are immediate causes for our suffering. There are some other causes behind them, but the immediate cause of our suffering is likes and dislikes. We better to understand this relationship, mutual relationship in between our suffering and likes and dislikes. How much we understand this, then we can careful. Whenever like or dislike comes, again it's an alarm. Oh, if I go with dislike, or if I go with this dislike, maybe I can enjoy myself for a while, but I had to end up at the suffering. That is the end. Before that, of course, I can sing, I can dance, I can enjoy, but that is not the end. Joy is not the end of liking or disliking. The end is suffering. And by understanding this, we can create some gap in between the rider and the horse. Then we should not allow that rider to sit on us, on our shoulders. And the next thing is, we had to do things, but we had to be practical. Why we had to do things? Not simply because I like it. Why I am not doing this? Not simply because I don't like it. There are some other practical points, some practical benefits for myself and for others. We better to collect practical information before we make any action, before we make any decision, instead of just act in order to what we like and what we don't like.
So thank you very much, Upul, for this answer. We are coming closer to the end of this retreat, this one-day retreat. And before I give the word to Upul to come to a conclusion or to say whatever he would like to say. There are two things I would like to mention. So several people, they have written a message in the chat box, and they thank everybody for the participation. They thank Upul and Mar and Claudia for the organization. And as every day or every meditation day, I would like to mention or say something briefly about dana. So if you would like to contribute financially, you can do so, and you can find the account number, the bank account number, in the invitation letter that was sent by our host, by Mar. And you are welcome to give a donation. As you know, in the Buddhist tradition, the teachings are not, they are given without any charge, but it's of course important that Nilambe can exist in these difficult times, and also Upul himself, he can exist in these difficult times. So if you would like to make a financial contribution, you can do so by giving or putting some money on the bank account that is mentioned in the invitation letter. That is Mar's bank account, and she will make sure that the money will reach Nilambe and will reach Upul. So that is the first thing I would like to mention. And the second thing, one of the participants today, Veronica, who is also from Spain, she organizes a talk with Upul, and that is next Sunday, January 30th at 4 p.m. European time, 8:30 Sri Lankan time, and 11 a.m. Hong Kong time. And Veronica will do the translation in Spanish. You see the announcement here. So it's called Free Minds, Part 2, next Sunday, 30th of January, at these times. If you would like to register for this talk of Upul, translated in Spanish, but of course given by Upul in English, so everybody can attend, you can register at this email address, veronicabezas@hotmail.com. And I have said everything I needed to say, so I am giving the word to Upul to conclude this meditation day.
Oh, you have done your duty, your job very beautifully and perfectly, dear Paul. Thank you so much. Yes, and I am always looking for opportunities to spread and share the Dhamma with you together. And dear friends, yeah, it looks like that I am teaching and you are learning, but actually we all are learning. We all are studying together. We all are practicing together. And how much you need Sangha, that much I need Sangha too. We all are in same current, same flow. So we better to get into the same boat. Then easier to cross the current together with group energy. And Dear Claudia and dear Ma, you are doing the hard part of this retreats, always before the retreat and at the retreat and end of the retreat, organizing things, publishing, communicating, answering, reading emails, and so many other things. Because of both of you, the rest of us can meditate easily and comfortably. Therefore, all of our grateful thanks should go to both of you, dear Claudia and dear Ma. And dear friends, it doesn't matter where we are physically. Where we are physically, it doesn't matter. Even we do not feel that we are far away from each other. The practice is connecting each of us to everyone. So we have to be grateful for the practice as well. If we practice more and more, then we can come closer more and more, spiritually and psychologically. And the last thing is, if we can meet again, virtually or physically, that's good. That's the hope, and that's the idea, and that's the plan, to meet again, at least virtual meeting, maybe physical meeting someday in somewhere. But that's the hope, that's the dream, it's a plan. Until that, dear friends, let us meet together and meditate together every day. Every day. We can meet again and again in every single meditation session. With this intention, once again, thank you so much for your participating, contribution, and live presence. Have a nice day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Upul, and thank you, Paul and Ma, and everybody participating. Very much. Thank you. I just wanted to share this thought to the topic of the retreat. When I made the announcement and put the title there on the picture, no mud, no lotus. Of course, we all read it in this way, no mud, no lotus, but I realized can be read otherwise too. No lotus, no mud. And I thought that's a good, in a way, summary of what Upul tried to communicate today. Thank you very much, Upul, Paul, Ma, and everybody.
Thanks, dear Claudia, for this beautiful announcement. No lotus, no mud.